Tom, you're never going to get those cupcakes, are you?
I don't think so. I'm counting on them though.
I could UPS them to you.
No. I want them at a public meeting. Public.
Debbie, you made Alan's picture go away.
Alan, come back.
Alan, coward, you get back up there.
I don't think that it adds anything to the equation, really.
We got to have somebody to pick on.
Yeah, well, even without the picture, you can still pick on me.
Not as much fun.
I have more cemetery deeds that need signed.
I'll swing by.
Okay. I'll just put them in your bins and that way you pass it to each other.
Okay, cool.
That worked out pretty good.
Do I have more, Debbie?
Yes.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started here.
Everybody.
All right. All right, so trustees meeting. Just for everybody who's participating on the participant panel, if you have a comment or something to say, there will be points at the meeting that we allow time for that. Go ahead and use the participant panel to raise your hand and we will call on you. And that's how, you can have input during the meeting. If you're on a phone, utilize the *9 button, *9 on the phone, and you can participate that way. And we'll see that your hand is raised and we can call on you. So for anybody participating in the meeting tonight, there is public participation, and that's essentially how it works. So let's go ahead and hop into the pledge. Bonnie, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and
justice
justice for all.
for all.
All right. So Debbie, you want to go ahead and call the meeting to order?
Yes.
Should have done that probably before the pledge, but
That's okay. Mr. Kelly,
here.
Mrs. Batchelor,
here.
Mr. Freeman.
Here,
Should we redo the pledge? Is it not official?
It's, I think it's
official.
okay.
It's official.
I'm going to go through this meeting under protest.
Okay. Alan is under protest. Got it.
All right. So Debbie, you want to go ahead and do the approval of minutes?
Yes. I request a motion to approve the minutes, the Records Commission meeting minutes of August the 12th, the regular meeting minutes of August the 12th, the public hearing of August the 26th, and the special meeting minutes of August the 26th.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. I was starting to sweat there, guys.
And roll call.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Batchelor,
yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you.
It doesn't look like we have any public presentations. We'll jump into old business. Discussion of the financial plan for road and park improvements. We'll start with Cole Road. Our plan to, I guess, pay for that. Loretta, you want to discuss that?
Yes, we're hoping to make an application using OPWC funding with a 50% loan, 50% grant request. And we believe that we could use the Prestwick TIF funds for loan repayment, but I did send an email to Brenda Weimer to get an opinion on that. I apologize, I just sent it today. That area is just 2 miles away from this. And I would say that it's also an alternative route to get further east on 125 toward Walmart shopping area as well. So we will see what her opinion is. If that were not acceptable, we could still identify other TIF revenues as we're going to explore them under Senate Bill 4. So I believe that perhaps we could have more than one alternative identified for that loan, but that's going to be documentation that we're going to need.
So we're going for a 50-50 grant. Is that the deal?
That's the proposal. 50% grant and 50% loan would be our local match. It's 0% interest for at least 25 years.
Do we need any kind of motion or anything to theoretically use those TIF funds pending that Brenda agrees we can use them?
I don't think it would be a bad thing, but I don't, as far as a resolution, I don't know, but I think a motion would suffice.
Yeah, I think
We
I
all-
agree.
Yeah, we already have an actual resolution required to make the application in the first place. We just didn't identify what the funding sources were going to be.
So wouldn't we wait to see if we get the OPWC fund before we do the resolution to use the TIFs?
We have
I
to
think-
say in the application how we're going to meet our local match.
That's right, that's right.
I did take a quick look at the Senate Bill 4, and it seems to be pretty good for townships. And the only timing issue is it seems to be effective on October the 13th. So any funds that are taken out of TIFs because of Senate Bill 4, it would seem to be, they'd have to be after October 14th or October 13th.
Yeah, and that would work out just fine if we had to use that for, if we had to use Senate Bill 4 to pay for the local match, that would work out just fine because you don't pay the loan back or any of the payments back until after the project's done.
Yeah.
Also, under the loan scenario, you're approved to a maximum amount, but you're not required to actually borrow all of that amount if not necessary.
And Debbie and John and I sat down and went through, made some projections of the Prestwick TIF. And, as far as the Prestwick TIF goes, the revenue would be there to cover this and a few other things. But the other great thing is that you can pay off early. So while it is a 25-year loan, there is no penalty for early payoff. So when we sat down, we kind of targeted a 5 to 6 year payoff, and it did fit within the Prestwick TIF revenue stream.
Alan did very good on that.
Well,
Even
that's-
with my, even though I can't balance my own checkbook.
But he did very good. He made me feel very much better.
Good.
One other thing about that Senate Bill 4 thing is it looks like it's applicable only to calendar years 2020 and 2021. So whether it gets extended beyond that, that's remains.
It won't be extended. This is the one-time shot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the state legislature is trying to find a way to, get in the stimulus act.
Yeah.
And so this was one way that they could try to achieve that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because in the end, they're only allowing us to spend our own money.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, do I have a motion for us to theoretically use those funds if approved by Brenda for that local match?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Batchelor,
yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes. All right. Similar type discussion for the Bradbury Road OPWC loan awarded. this would be 25%, 75, I guess, 25% local match on this. Loretta, you want to talk more about that?
No. Well, actually, the Bradbury Road project is already awarded. So we're in the process of getting the construction documents finalized and the right-of-way finalized. So this is just a reminder note that we have already identified the Prestwick TIF 1 initially to pay back that loan. So that
And-
is something that had already been discussed, and I just want to acknowledge it since we're talking about Prestwick on both of those.
Well, and that was another piece that when Debbie and John and I sat down and talked, we wanted to make sure that the Prestwick TIF would not be overburdened in that we would be spending money twice coming out of the same TIF. The thing that as we laid it out, the revenue stream did support paying off the Bradbury loan as well as the Cole Road loan and pay for improvements in the park. So what the other thing to remember is that Prestwick TIF is actually not just one TIF, it's actually two TIFs. Because as of last meeting, we approved Prestwick 2, which will start to come online about 2022. So with the two TIFs in place, that should more than cover the cost of both loans. And once again, while we could lay it out for a 25-year horizon, we were also targeting a 6-year payoff.
Yes.
All right. So no motion needed for that one, right?
Yeah, it's already been done.
All right. 2020 road resurfacing contract. Consider SB4 up to 25% of balances can be used from Walmart and Kroger TIF. Loretta, let's discuss.
Yes, well, as we talked about Senate Bill 4, it allows you to use up to 25% of your existing balances that are unencumbered, as long as you don't have any outstanding loans that you have to pay from those TIF balances or any other obligations. You can use those balances toward road maintenance projects. So as I guess the only matter for Debbie to take care of on all these matters, if there are any questions, she can contact the auditor's office. But even though we've already appropriated funds for the 2020 road resurfacing contract, I am guessing as long as the payments are made after October 13th, that money could be eligible to pay for that, which would keep those road funds in our budget to carry over to other road projects that are necessary this year and or next year.
All right.
So unless there's any, I think that we probably do need a motion to consider use of those funds under Senate Bill 4 for road resurfacing, road maintenance and improvement projects. So Debbie, would you like a motion for that?
Yes, please.
So moved.
Okay.
Second,
So Debbie, verbiage on that, I guess, is to consider the use of the Walmart and Kroger TIFs for road resurfacing projects.
The unencumbered balances can use for, yeah, road work.
Good deal.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Batchelor,
yes,
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes. And we have the same thing for D, item D, but for 2021. So do we need something there, or it's just same concept?
Same concept.
You may need to just say this again in 2021.
Yes. Motion for that too.
So moved.
Okay.
I
second,
won't let you forget.
It's a good day for John.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Batchelor,
yes,
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you. And I'll do the same verbiage on that one as I did for the first one.
And then I guess we're just going to discuss the possible use of Prestwick TIF funds for the park improvements as well.
Correct. Again, we do have Prestwick TIF number 1 and 2 And we also have, we know what our TIF balance was from our first collections, but we will also have, assuming at least an equivalent amount that we'll receive yet this year. So there are some TIF funds that we have in that balance that could be used toward our local match on the Pierce Park improvements underway that we're paying bills on right now.
And to clarify, Alan, I don't know if you guys got a copy of his little chart that he did. It is really good how he went and figured it out, and over the period of time, the funds coming in and going out. So I agreed with him on it. Sorry about that. I did, but it looks good. I was happy. It did work.
It does. It does.
All right.
Do we want to make a motion on that one?
Yeah,
I think memorializing all of this is a good thing to do.
Yeah, I think it's important that when we look at the Prestwick TIF and particularly these expenditures, if we're able to use the Prestwick TIF funds, and we know we're eligible to do it. We know we're in the clear to do that. By using those funds, it takes pressure off of any general fund accounts that we have that we would normally use in the park. So it's a far better way to use those Prestwick dollars because quite frankly, they're very prescribed by law how we can use the funds. And since that's the case, general fund dollars are, not generally quite as, they're much more flexible, but they're also much more in demand. So this would help to at least take away some of the burden off the general fund by using Prestwick TIF funds that we have in the account right now.
Yep.
All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Oh, okay. Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Batchelor,
yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hold on, please.
All right. I think that's all good stuff. Take a little pressure off general fund and road fund, some of our tighter funds.
One other thing that I'd like to, do we have a motion on today, Debbie, to discuss the Pierce Point TIF?
Yes.
Say that again, Alan.
Is there a motion on today for the Pierce Point TIF?
I believe-
Yes, there's a resolution on the agenda.
Yes.
Okay. The reason I bring it up is that we had discussed in our meeting about splitting it so that we put part of it toward general fund and then part of it into a capital account. And I don't know if that's something you want to do now and parse that out or do it later.
I don't think that Brenda drafted the resolution itself, but I thought that it first needs to be received by the general fund and accounting.
Okay. Well, if it
Principles.
has to be a two-step process, that's fine. We could do that next month.
Yeah. I also believe that's true. It's supposed to go to the general fund first, I believe.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Moving on. Village of Amelia updates. Tom?
All right, I'll start, and other people might have other things to add. Two things to start off. In the court proceeding, the declaratory judgment that was filed by the village against the newly elected officials. Two things happened there. First is that the newly elected officials, Ms. Renee Gerber and the others who were newly elected, filed a dismissal of their counterclaim, which alleged that Amelia's income tax was improper. So by doing that, that greatly streamlines the case and should allow it to proceed at a more rapid pace. Second thing that happened is that the judge ruled on a motion that was also filed by the newly elected officials. And that was a motion that challenged the authority of the Manley Burke law firm to file the declaratory judgment to begin with. And the judge simply ruled in a rather short decision that that motion was denied. So that again keeps the case pending, and it's now all of the peripheral issues seem to have fallen by the wayside, and hopefully the judge would be able to make a decision reasonably soon. But I have no input on when and how the judge will do that. And then the last thing is that, as indicated in the agenda, next Monday, the 14th, will be our next meeting with the state auditor. And I suspect we'll have a few things to discuss with the auditor at that point, but that's the next meeting with the state auditor. We haven't had one for a couple of months. So that's it for what's going on in the legal, the lawsuit world.
So Tom, what was the recent authority challenged of what law firm? Who's the person in that law firm?
Kathy Ryan is the law director who is with the firm of Manley Burke, and she filed the declaratory judgment. And the question is, did she have authority to do that? And so the judge ruled against the people who filed the motion that challenged her authority. So therefore, the lawsuit is in court, it's pending, it's live, and it's at issue now. Now the judge should be able to rule.
All right. Well, so there's no date set for that ruling. It's just,
No.
How does that work?
Well, the way it works is that each side has to file their written argument stating why they are correct. And so the first written argument was filed by the Village of Amelia. And then the reply argument from the newly elected officials is due to be filed. And to be honest with you, I can't remember whether they have filed that yet or not. It was something that was going to take them a couple or 3 weeks, and it's about time, and possibly it was filed, but I really don't remember.
All right. So once that stuff's filed and they try to start setting a date on it?
Well, there may not be a date. It may just be filed, and then it'll be on the judge's desk for the judge to rule. I'm not sure there's going to be oral argument. In a declaratory judgment, nobody has a right to oral argument. You can ask for it, and the judge might grant it. But most of the issues are legal issues, and legal issues are usually argued in writing. So whether there's going to be oral argument, whether there's going to be any live witnesses, we don't know at this point. And the odds are we will not have oral argument or live witnesses, but that may change.
All right. Do we have anybody?
At the end of the tunnel?
What's that, Debbie?
I was asking, do we see a light at the end of the tunnel on this yet?
Well, as I said, things have been streamlined. Some of the other issues in this case are now off of the case. So now the case is at least focused on the main issue, which is who is supposed to be sitting in the chairs at the Village of Amelia. That's the issue now.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and open the floor. Anybody have anything, any kind of discussion? Again, use the participant panel to raise your hand, or *9 if you're on a phone. Do you have any comments on that? Hey, Renee.
My husband was just saying you might give him a heart attack by not talking, and then you unmute me. So
Yeah, I thought something was wrong. I just want to make sure. I don't want to move on to the next step. You guys will be like, what is this? We can't comment. I'm running the meeting for the first time tonight. Eddie's on vacation, so I'm a little skittish.
No, you're all right. I didn't have a whole lot to say. The only question I have is on the meeting on the 14th, I don't know if anybody forwarded, I forgot to send did everybody get my email I sent out yet last night?
Yes, yes. Yeah, and by the way, I thought it was very thorough and
Thank you.
very well done, very well crafted, and your attachments were, I thought, wonderful. So
Thank
I
you.
was going to say, unless somebody doesn't want to, I think that's going to be a major subject that's discussed on Monday.
That's what I was going to ask,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
my question is, and I'm going to call Matt to get with somebody to figure out my question would be, is Todd going to be there? And I don't think he should be there with all this litigation or is it just you guys?
I can't answer that. I think the best answer is he has not been at the last, I don't think, 2 or 3 or 4 meetings. So I'm suspecting he would not be there on Monday, unless somebody has any other knowledge, but I don't. I haven't talked to any of the other lawyers on this case in some time other than David Fry.
Okay, and so then I would ask, since we're not at the table, if that, what I sent you, Tom, if that can be presented to the state, because that was done by Faber himself and by, Kathleen Ryan. And my question is who renewed his payment in June?
Good
I
question.
didn't get, nobody called me to ask me. So why are they continuing to pay him? We've got a records request to make sure to see if he got paid for August, which I'm sure he did, another $3,000. And he's not even, not that I want him to attend these meetings, but he's not even doing that.
No.
He's mowing grass of somebody else's property during the time he's supposed to be collecting his $3,000.
Yeah, I am sure that the trustees will want the question to be asked. And so if the trustees can at least give us the green light, and one of the trustees will probably be participating on Monday. So I would imagine that they would definitely want that question asked, and asked before Monday. Asking on Monday is a little too late. We want to ask it sooner.
Well, I sent it to whoever's email that I could find within the records request. I don't know if, is it Borger?
Yes.
Is he still there? Because my email was blocked from him.
His name is Boucher. I'm not sure if he's still involved in this case, but you did send it. You did send it to Mary DeGennaro, who's the top legal counsel. So she's the one who I would call with the question anyway. So I think you've gone to the very top with your copy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was very good.
So Tom, do we need any kind of authorization to ask these questions or what?
Not really, no. I just don't want to be asking questions out of turn if the trustees don't want it asked. And I'm sure that I assume you three trustees would like to have that question asked.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
without a doubt.
Right.
Right. And that's why I attached, all that stuff was in 700 and 1,000-page dumps. And that's all I could find going through all of those that even referenced his pay.
Right.
And that was not at all what she agreed to the state for.
Right.
And, the other thing, and just to harp on it again, is, we in Amelia, people are getting, because they got their tax bill, are up in arms and have no idea who to call, and so of course I get the calls, I get the text messages, I get the, the stuff on Facebook, and I tell them I'm sorry, but there's nobody representing them. I mean, that's just the unfortunate, and I don't think that's the biggest taxation without representation right there, because we have no representation.
Right. I agree.
I know I harp on that every time, but that I don't know what to do about it. Yeah.
So back to a couple of these questions, just to be clear, Renee, do you mind if I read from your email a little bit?
No, absolutely not. Go ahead.
So some of the questions were, for what I gather, who was or is responsible for this renegotiation of his pay, i.e. Todd's pay? And where is the documentation of this renegotiation? So those are some of the questions, I guess, Tom, that we can fire their way.
Yes.
Not only that, but how do we prove that he's actually doing anything? I mean,
Right.
we've tried to see timesheets, and I have not seen a timesheet yet. I'm also curious about the attorney. I'd like to see her timesheets as well.
And to be sure, this is all stuff we've been challenging all along the way.
Yeah.
I believe we've
Right.
requested to see some timesheets. I believe we've,
Yeah.
voiced our opposition to Todd Hart sitting in the role that he's in for months now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we will continue to push, but I do think those questions could, essentially, I don't think they're questions we haven't asked, Pierce Township hasn't asked, but I think we need to continue asking them.
Right.
Yeah, I don't, just because we don't get don't get an answer doesn't mean we don't keep asking the question.
Right.
Tom, wasn't his salary brought up at one of the meetings with the state auditor, and wasn't that
Yes. Yes, it was.
decided in that meeting what he
Yeah,
should pay?
I
It
believe
wasn't
it.
us doing it.
No, I believe it was the one that Alan attended, and Alan stayed over and stayed extra time to try to work out some negotiation. I was participating at that point in our a side meeting with the state auditor. And that's when they started questioning whether we had the authority to sign that contract. So yeah, I think that it all funnels back to the state auditor. But yeah, there was a meeting that was discussed. And I think that was right about the time that Kathy Ryan wrote the letter that Renee attached, the letter saying he's agreed to take less. So why an agreement wasn't struck, nobody knows. But I think the answer is who would have been the parties to that agreement? Would it have been him and the village? And if it's a village, who's the village council? And you're back to the same question that you are right where we are now.
Well, he should be as bound up as we are.
Yeah.
Tom, in your opinion, what was the triggering point to actually issuing him a check?
I don't know. I have no idea.
And you know what's funny, Tom, is you mentioned, or at the last meeting or a couple meetings ago, I forget which one it was, but that your authority to get rid of him stopped in March, correct?
That's about the time that there was a shift in the opinions that we were getting from the state auditor. Yes.
And that's when, right after that is when his payments of $3,300 or $3,330.33, which if you calculate that into a year's pay, that's 4 cents, I think, less than what he made as the mayor. 4 cents.
Right.
Wow.
He's only doing 4 cents less work, Renee.
Yeah.
Doing 4 cents less.
Yeah.
He's he's not going into work or anything. I guess he's mowing some grass, but it culminates to 4 cents.
Yeah, and and the funny thing is whose grass he's mowing and why. I mean, I think there's something there that I wish some investigative reporter would dig into, but but that's the thing, when somebody's on our taxpayer dimes, that's from a set time, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. He doesn't do anything unless it has to do with the village.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go mow grass of somebody that owns property over there that's not his, supposedly. If he's going to mow grass, why doesn't he do it for free for you guys and go mow the corner lot on Oak and go mow some other grass? At least, do something to get paid that much money.
Keep mowing.
Yeah.
Keep right on mowing.
So, I mean, I just, I got to give the residents here something to hope for other than, like you said, Tom, a quick conclusion to this. But, I don't know when that's going to be or if it's going to be.
Well, I don't want to give you any false hope as to how quick it's going to be, but it should be quick as far as a legal system works, because as I said, the peripheral issues have now disappeared, and it's a focused case now on one issue, and that's, it's pretty focused now, and that's not that tough for a judge to do.
But you got to remember, Renee, when Tom says that it's going to be quick in a legal sense, that's kind of like glacial sense.
I was gonna say, is that quick in legal term? Because I quick is not a legal term.
I knew Alan had to get in one legal cut there, yeah. A legal gig.
It's kind of like the last minute in a football game, Renee.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
take an hour.
Right.
It's tradition. He's contractually obligated to do that. He signed something when he became trustee. It's take one dig per meeting.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, other than the meeting on the 14th, I mean, I just hope he's not there. I mean, not that, I can say who can be there or who can't, but it sure is he shouldn't be there. And if he hasn't been to the other ones, why did he get paid? That's another, now that just raises a whole nother question for me.
No, don't know.
I had a conversation, Renee, with one of our staff, senior staff, as a matter of fact. And he was over there trying to work on one of the vehicles that belonged to the village. And I hope I can tell this story, but for some reason, the keys were locked inside the vehicle. And so our senior staff person had to spend hours over there trying to retrieve the keys to this vehicle with no sign of Todd Hart as part of that crew. And I'm wondering, if we're paying him to do things, why wasn't he the one working on that vehicle trying to retrieve those keys? Seems like his job description.
Yeah, and he was supposed to go find a records request for us at the village too, and that's not happened either. And that's going on 2 months old. So, I mean, he can't even get up to the village to find, a contract. So,
but again, I'm preaching to the choir, and so are you.
Yes, you are.
But
I know. But I just don't know what to tell the residents on who they call to voice their frustration. I mean, if I had
tell
to
them to call Todd.
Yeah, good answer.
Well, I'm sure I have his phone number somewhere. I'd love to publicly, but I have a court case and I'm going to be nice, but.
He is the administrator after all.
Well, they can call Kathleen, I guess, but then she'll just bill the hours to the village. So.
Right.
So will he.
So
True.
yeah.
So that's all I had, but thanks for checking on me, Nick. I appreciate it. You locked me out.
We're gonna send out the EMTs, man.
Yeah.
I thought there was something wrong with this.
Don't send a police car. I'm okay. I'm all right.
All right.
Thanks, guys. I'm glad. Thanks, Tom, for the nice words about the email. I try. Every once in a while I have something up.
It was very good. Very good.
Thanks for that. All right. So anybody else have any comments on that topic? All right. So next we have on the green, Royal Oak. Next update plan for September, October. I think that several dates in early October have been floated to Mr. Miller Novak to try to schedule that. So it's looking like it'd probably be sometime the first week of October. First or second week. Anybody have any other comments on that?
Hey, Nick, I do, the police chief does. I will be on vacation the second week of October.
Good to know. Well, we'll have to look at that.
Okay.
Try to get something when you're there.
Gabby, you and I, the first part of the first week.
Yeah, the 4th will be gone. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
All right, so the dates that were floated to us are 6th, 7th, 8th, 13th, and 14th.
6th, 7th, 8th would not work for me.
No, not for me.
The 14th is our next regular meeting in October.
Can we piggyback that, Nick, instead of having a special meeting?
We're trying to be accommodating and work to an extent around Mr. Miller Novak's schedule, and these are the dates that he floated in early October. said September wouldn't work. And these dates he gave us in early October.
The 14th is our regular meeting.
We could, I would assume maybe we could just tack it on that.
That's what I'm asking. Why couldn't we just do that?
Alan, what do you think?
I think that if Mr. Miller Novak can accommodate the 14th, I think that would be good.
Chief Bachman, are you going to be back by then?
No, I will have someone in my place, and I think that will be okay. I think he'll do fine.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, I know it's hard to replace me, but I have faith in my personnel. So
It won't be the same, Jeff.
We will try to suffer through. We will. I mean, it'll be hard.
I understand.
We'll struggle.
We'll get with Eddie and see if you can communicate with them and schedule that for just tagged onto our 14th meeting.
Okay.
All right. Learning Center updates.
Yes, and we can invite any of the park members to chime in on this, especially when we talk about the dog park. But the Learning Center is moving along quickly on schedule. I know the pad was poured. I haven't looked to see if they started to erect the structure. Other people that drove that direction probably know more than me. The Claremont County Engineer's Office has made their first disbursement on the park path, and they will be wrapping it up also in the next week. So if we want to acknowledge either Mr. Carpenter or Mr. Page, or I don't know if Lori's on the call, or Doug Dressy, to invite them to add any other comments.
Thank you, Loretta. Can you guys, one of you guys try to raise your hands, even if you don't have a comment? George or somebody?
George has his.
Oh, there you go. All right, just making sure that function worked. I didn't see anybody do that yet. George, are you there?
You're muted.
I asked you to unmute, George. You'll have to unmute on your end.
He's in there twice.
Oh, well, that's weird. Try it now, George.
There, is that, can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, you're in the meeting twice for some.
Wow.
Is
I'll
that
just say,
George, you got two feeds going, dude. What's going on?
maybe Randy or something can,
Wow.
Yeah, you're signed in twice, George. Are you on like a phone and a computer, or two devices at once somehow?
Can you mute one of them and open one? Now he's gone.
All right, Doug, are you there?
Randy Page has his hand raised.
Oh,
Okay, I just, you unmuted me, so, anyway, yeah, I did notice driving by, this evening, it does look like they've started to erect the frame, for the band shell portion of it, so that's moving along. And just, as Loretta notes, it's on schedule. Kind of moving on to the dog park. We did get good news at the parks meeting last week that, through the help of Mark and Donna Can, they held a fundraiser garage sale a couple of weeks ago. And with that and some other donations that had come in just prior to the parks meeting last week, our fundraising total is now up to over $19,000. So when we presented last month to the trustees, it was just over $15,000. So we've managed to raise another $4,000 in the month of August towards the dog park. So Lori Wilson worked diligently on an RFP for the fencing, and that is currently out. And So we're requesting bids for, early October in the hopes that we get those in to be able to present at the trustee meeting in October. So that's kind of an update there. Randy, I don't know if you have anything to add. If you want to unmute, Randy.
Nick is muted, apparently.
Can y'all hear me yet?
Yes.
We can
Now,
hear
just
you.
now, you were gone.
All right. We were over there just this morning with a contractor that we know looking at the proposed butterfly garden. And while we were there, they were doing some seeding and strawing of the berm, and I'm assuming maybe around the park paths. We were only there for about an hour. At that point, they had not started erecting this stage, but I'm glad to hear that, or the structure, I'm glad to hear that that's moving along. But other than what George or Doug had, I don't really have anything else to add other than that.
I can add some. I talked to the company that was doing the paving, Roberts Paving. They finished everything up that they had to finish up for the walking paths. They are having a few issues with the light up crosswalks. But everything else is finished except for that. And I guess they're gonna have somebody come out and try to help them figure it out. So it wasn't wanting to program right. And the stage, the covered part of the stage is being erected. They did start today, so.
All right.
And the bathrooms have also been epoxied, so, on the walls. That's about it.
All right. Thanks, John.
Debbie and Loretta, as far as the trails are concerned, because that came out of a separate grant, we probably should sit down and go over what was spent on that to see where we stand on it.
Nope.
Because I'd like to just to kind of look at the county's books a little bit,
Okay.
so we can shake out a couple pennies or quarters out of that thing.
Okay. When would you like to meet?
Probably sometime early next week,
Okay.
Monday or Tuesday. But let me look at. I'll check into it. I've got a couple things going on, but I'll look at the calendar and see what works for Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. Sounds
Well,
good.
We just got a copy of the first pay request today. I can share that with you too.
Yeah, because I can't imagine it's going to come in under budget, but if it does, I'd like to see if we can't reallocate some of those funds someplace else. But I reiterate, I doubt it will.
Alan, we did, I don't know if there's a way to do it or not, but we might be able to, they might take some money off if you mention about all the dirt that we did supply,
Mhm.
that they were supposed to supply. I mean, even though it was a benefit for us to get the dirt out of our way, because it was getting rather large and in the way. But
They don't need to know that.
No.
That's very expensive dirt.
Yes. And then, and also we supplied them with a very close dump site. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we can apply some of those things toward the local match and convince the engineer that we can reduce the local match amount by that much, then that works for us too. That works to our benefit as well.
All right. Anything else? Anybody else? George, I do believe we may have resolved your issue if you want to try to unmute. All right. Let's see here. State Route 125 corridor study.
I thought that you would have this in your hands by now. So actually it will be distributed for final review and approval by the trustees. I thought that at October's meeting, after everyone has it in their hands, has an opportunity to consider it, discuss it, you can hopefully be ready to give it some form of a blessing. The document is currently in a Dropbox. It's very large, including the traffic study. So that's probably the initial form will be a link that we'll send you. And then if you'd like a hard copy, we can make that and put it in a binder.
She's actually been quite nice. The Dropbox stopped at my desk. And so the reason why it's delayed to you is because of me. And I'm reviewing it very carefully. So nice of you. Thank you, Loretta, for, not telling everybody that.
Thank you for telling me, Alan. Hit share. All you gotta do is hit share.
It'll be, trust me, it'll be in your inbox fairly soon. And then you can read through it.
It's fascinating, especially the traffic study.
Could use it tonight to doze off later.
Take it, show it to the kids. They'd love it. Just sit there and read it to them, the right turn lanes at AM peak versus PM peak. It's riveting stuff.
Okay.
Is that why your hair got a little bit whiter around the temples?
Yeah, it's why it kind of it left my head.
All right, good deal. So new business, Debbie?
I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers for the payroll and the bills for this month, so I'll have them, double of them next month. But I do have some other things. I request a motion for resolution 2020-022, a resolution authorizing transfer of monies from tax increment equivalent fund pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, and that's the Pierce Point TIF. So I can put that into the general fund.
So this is the Pierce Point TIF that we discussed earlier.
Yes.
I'll make the motion, Debbie.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. Ms. Batchelor?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you. I request a motion for resolution 2020-023 for the lighting assessment for Legendary Run and Legendary Trails. That account is running short. I pay out over $12,000 a month in their lighting. I'm having an increased $2 a half, which will make it to $123 a half that they'll be paying on their taxes for their assessment, which is about $246 a year.
And that'll cover the shortage that you're seeing now?
Yes, I'm hoping, but yeah, it should. I'll probably be getting some calls from Legendary, but that's okay. I need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Batchelor,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
I request a motion for 2020-024, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. You should receive a copy of that in your emails and in your packet. This is done every year.
So moved.
So seconded.
Mrs. Batchelor,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes. Nice pivot, Alan.
Yeah, you like that? I got out of there just right away.
That was quick.
I know.
I do have a couple other things.
So move second.
Hold on, let me find my notes. Okay. As you know, the Learning Center, we had to do an advance from the general fund to the Learning Center line account. and we did receive that money back of $95,762.80. That's where we have to pay it, and then we get reimbursed for it. So I need approval to transfer that back from the Learning Center line account back into the general fund.
Your turn, Alan.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Batchelor?
Yes.
And Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
I have another one. This one is for Gears and Son. This is for the Learning Center. It's also, this is going to be another payment for them. I got to transfer 107. So when I get this 95 transferred back into the general fund, I'm going to have to transfer it back to the Learning Center of $107,750.40. Then we'll get reimbursed, and I'll ask to transfer it back to the general fund. So doing this transfer of Pierce Point is going to help me out.
Excellent.
Motion to approve that.
Go, Alan.
Bonnie?
Go,
No,
Alan. I'm
no,
gonna let you do this.
after you. After I insist after you.
Let's fight. I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
And I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Batchelor,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we make Alan put his face up there.
I will second.
Where did I go? There I am. I'm back.
There he is. Now he can't stick his tongue out at me.
I'm done.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you're done?
I'm not sure.
All right.
Did you guys last month approved my revised budget to the county?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yeah, where I took off the Amelia funds. I took that off and redistribute, you already did that one. So I don't know if I sent it out again or not. I don't know.
You did.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have. That's enough.
Chief Wright.
I request a motion for resolution 2020-025, resolution adopting the Claremont County All Hazards Mitigation Plan.
So moved, I think is what Alan is saying.
Evening,
I'll
Chris.
make the motion.
Seconded.
Ms. Batchelor,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
and Mr.
Since we're-
Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you.
I know where you live, Alan.
He's up on that hill.
I
You
know.
don't know that I still live there. I mean, Pam could have kicked me out. You never know.
The room's the same in the background.
Oh. There's that.
That. Didn't you have a picture of a rooster up there the last time?
It's
Chief Wright, you're up again.
over there. See it?
There it is.
I request a motion to accept the resignations of the following part-time members: Scott Collier, Tyler Gangwer, Sarah Lott, and William Scales, effective September 1st, 2020.
What happened?
3 of them got full-time jobs elsewhere. One of them, their full-time employer due to COVID won't let them work part-time anywhere. So they've chosen to resign at this time and possibly come back when things calm down.
Okay. I'll make the motion.
So
since
moved.
Alan's gonna set-
Oops. Seconded.
Mrs. Batchelor,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you. I request a motion to approve the annual payment for the 2017 E1 fire engine to U.S. Bank Corp in the amount of $53,865.46.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Batchelor,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you. And this is my last one. I request a motion to approve the purchase of one Lifeline arm CPR assist device from Henry Schein in the amount of $8,050. Noting this expense will be paid for from the local government CARES Act funding. And what this is actually a device that we can use to do chest compressions in the event of a cardiac arrest.
Nick and Alan, if you have not seen the video of how this thing works, it is amazing.
I have. It seems like money well spent. It's going
It
to save
is.
lives.
And we're kind of striking right now while the iron's hot. This is a hot COVID expense. So they're running some promotions right now, and we get some additional equipment for it essentially for free. So we're trying to move and capitalize on that.
So essentially it does chest compressions, but it's a machine, right? So it's more consistent and it can keep going when a person can't, as you're moving somebody and stuff like that.
Yeah, so going down the stairs, it straps on, it's battery powered. So going down the stairs, moving in and out of a house, it continues to do compressions where as a human, when we're going down the steps, you have to stop doing that. So it's consistent every time. And we've had a demo unit for the last probably month that we've used 4 or 5 times, and we've actually had some good success. We've gotten 2 people back with it.
The thing I like about it too is trying to do compressions in the back of a moving squad. You're not getting that same depth every time, depending on the ride. So this is just fantastic, I think.
And the huge benefit as it relates to the COVID side is it keeps one of our staff from being right down in somebody's face doing compressions and reduces the risk of exposure.
That's
great. Well, I'll make the motion to purchase this.
Seconded.
Mrs. Batchelor,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Service Director Kohler.
Service Director John Kohler requests a motion to approve the buyback of lot 155, grave 1 in section 3B in Pierce Township Cemetery in the amount of $570 from Mary Restock, with Miss Restock giving up all rights to said lot.
Oh, I don't know. Is that what we sold it for, I presume?
She's
Yes,
moving
that's
to
what-
Florida. She's moving
That's
to
what we sold it for. So basically, we've done it in the past. We just purchased them back.
All right.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Batchelor,
Yes.
and Mr. Kelly.
Yes. All right, departmental updates. Chief Bachman.
I do have a few things. Number one, I want to say thanks to the officers at our police department. As you know, we had 3 officers who were all off at the same time due to quarantine and other issues. And when you lose roughly, Debbie, correct me on this, but about 18% of your workforce for 3 weeks, they all stepped up, moved some shifts, moved some people around, and a very limited overtime to cover those absences. So thank you to everyone for doing that there. Second thing, we have 4 Amelia cars that we purchased. Our mechanic, Dave Schneider and Troy, have got those working. 2 of them are in service now, and they look great. And I know it's been a lot of work for them, a lot of trips back up to Ford for recalls that were missed. And I know it's been very time consuming, but they have 2 cars done and 2 that will be done very, very soon. So thank you to their hard work and diligence. Amelia substation, we were using that periodically. When we were quarantined, we used it a lot. We are now trying to integrate our server into that network so it can be used pretty much full time. And we're working with our IT guy to do that. So I think that's a neat thing that we'll be having a police car up in that substation quite a bit more than we have been. Number 4 is thanks to Randy and George for their commitment to the parks. I got a hold of them today to now that the buildings are going up and the walkway is complete and you can really see how it's going to kind of be defined. I'm walking with them tomorrow to find some possible ideas on where to put a memorial for Deputy Brewer. And when we get done, I'll call his wife. We've been playing phone tag and have her come over and kind of decide what we think is best. So thanks to those guys and their hard work with the park board. And lastly, and this is not a good thing, but within the last week, we had two resisting arrest of individuals. One was tased, and then we had a fire EMS personnel person that was assaulted. So 3 incidents of resisting and assault are not the norm for us out here. And I hate to see this as a trend that's like other areas. So I do find that somewhat alarming. And that's just I don't know what to say on that, except that it's not a good thing. So I think I'm done. Any questions on any of that?
Chief, what's the trend with the resisting? I mean, what was it previously? How is it trending?
I mean, we have a tasing maybe once a year, but they have a resisting, a tasing, and then an assault on a first responder all within a week. I find alarming. I don't know if all this silliness in the news that you watch every night has something to do with it, or if it's just coincidence. But it's definitely not the route that we are going to deal with in Pierce Township. So,
Area. It's too bad.
and that's pretty much it for the police department.
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Chief Wright, do you have any updates, celebrations?
I do. So to the point of our member assaulted, she was fine. Thanks to our police department for their tremendous effort. Also, the Clermont County Sheriff's Office, they were actually in transport to the hospital when it occurred. And the Sheriff's Office was on the street and got there first. So greatly appreciate everyone's effort in keeping us safe. As Trustee Batchelor commented at the beginning, the wall that was approved did go up near my office yesterday. They did a fantastic
which is good. We need to wall your office off.
Yes.
Keep you separated from the rest of the staff. That's a good thing.
It's safer for everyone.
That's right.
They did do a tremendous job matching it. I mean, it looks like it was ordered at the same time, and there's quite a substantial year difference between the two. I think there's some benefits that I didn't think about. It's tremendously more quiet. And I know looking back, sometimes when there were meetings going on in the conference room, there would be some interference from things going on at my end of the hallway and vice versa. So I think it's going to tremendously help with that.
Alan just can't walk down there now either, right?
No, he's locked out.
Well, he was actually being nice
like
because
Alan, you're locked out.
I know. Well, I didn't get a key to the building until like 2 weeks ago.
You didn't ask for one.
I'm in my second term, guys.
I know. I can't believe you haven't asked for one until now.
I didn't even know you could have them until, somebody made a mistake and said, "Don't you have a key?"
I do have 2 more quick things. The ambulance that was involved in the wreck in June, I am happy to report we picked up last week. I guess 2 weeks ago, this Friday. There's a few things on it that we found since it's been back that are going to have to be addressed. Nothing significant. But the stars did align and we lucked out because while we were up there, I inquired about their timeframes and turnarounds. And because of COVID, manufacturers shutting down, and because of the model year changeover, they're now quoting people March to get things. So we got lucky and they were able to find a chassis and get things turned around pretty quick. So we're pleased about that. And we did get notified last week that we did receive an additional grant for $5,000 from the Gary Sinise. I guess that's how you say it, Sinise. The actor. Yeah. He's got a foundation that supports first responders. One of our members saw a pretty neat piece of equipment and submitted the application, and we were awarded. It's an inflatable type boat, not a traditional boat. It's more like a banana boat you would see at the ocean, but the center's open and it's got holes cut in the floor. So it gives us the ability for ice rescues. Instead of putting one of our members in the water, you can put them in a suit to hold onto the boat and walk out and slide the boat over the victim, and they can climb inside. We'd be able to use it during floods of the river, events where we have floods over 749 or Old 52 where a car may drive into it. It just makes it safer for all of us and for the people we'll be rescuing.
I'm confused. How do you have a boat with a hole in the bottom?
I can show you a video. It's definitely unique.
It just sounds funny.
And the surprising thing is it's stored empty and it can be completely inflated in about 3 minutes using our air bottles that we use for our air packs. So it's a pretty neat piece of equipment.
So the sides are tubes and they keep it buoyant, and you don't really need the center to have anything on it.
Yes, sir.
Like a pontoon.
Yes. That's all I have. Thank you.
We expect a physics the next meeting to further explain that.
Okay, perfect. I'll see if I can set it up in my basement.
Yeah. All right. John Kohler, do you have anything else?
Yes. Our one employee, Jonathan McLemore, he went in, I think it was last month, and he went up and took his CDL test, and he passed. So I just want to say congratulations to him for passing it on his first try. It is kind of a big deal. A lot of people don't pass it on their first try. So hats off to him. Other than that, I just came back this week, so I'm still trying to figure out what all's going on. So,
But you're able to get like twice as much done with that bionic arm now.
no more bionic arm.
Ah,
Is it better than your old arm, John? Is it strong? They put something.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might go and try out to be a pitcher.
So I think everything ran well while you were gone. That's a testament to your leadership skills and some of the processes and stuff you've been putting in place, right?
Yes, very much so. Cody did a great job. All the guys did a great job. They all stepped up and did what they needed to do. So I didn't come back to a lot of complaints and a lot of things to go research. So that was a great thing.
I know you've been training and getting Cody ready and doing cross training and stuff. It paid off. You never know when something like that's going to happen.
Yes. I didn't have Debbie hounding me about receipts and all that good stuff. So Cody was able to take care of them. I've been teaching him how to code them if he needed to. So yeah, it's been a great thing. I didn't hear any complaints, so he must have done all right.
I'm so mean to those guys. I crack the whip and I say, "Where's the receipts?" I'm nice about it, John.
Yes, you are. I'm just proud of them guys that you are proud of them that they got them in.
They got Doug now emailing me the Lowe's receipts like Troy does.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing.
Hey, you guys step it up. You can throw them in a Dropbox.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Eddie's not in. Loretta, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to mention that planning and zoning is really, really busy. Luckily, he's gotten to the other side of the Amelia zoning work since we passed that last resolution. But there's a lot of activity on code enforcement side of things. Still a lot of activity, and I think that you hear that on the news as well. There's a lot of people who are improving their homes, putting up fences. There's a lot more activity than any normal year with this COVID year, really. I also just wanted to mention that on September the 30th, we have the meeting coming up that's already been advertised to consider the resolution for the Prestwick TIF number 2, and we can expand that agenda. So for instance, if Debbie wants to have her August payments approved, we can add it to that September 30th meeting agenda, if it's all right to expand that one. That meeting is at 10 o'clock in the morning. But again, that wouldn't be any surprise to anyone. The financials will be available online. The other item that Debbie can probably speak to some more is that there are certain other CARES Act expenditures that we're exploring and will need approvals. And we may be ready to have that list to be considered by the trustees in terms of additional improvements that can be made using the dollars that are assigned for that.
What we've done here is have the department heads, we've all got together to see what we could use for the building, for all the buildings, such as like water faucets in the bathroom that you just stick your hands under. Everybody's getting prices on different things. We have to have this money encumbered by October the 15th to be able to still use it. And then it has to be done by the end of December for expenditures, but they may increase that. So, but yeah, we've been racking our brains. Bonnie's also been involved with it. I had her to get involved with it too. Right now, we've paid out of that COVID funds. For the police department, we've paid out over $10,000 in sick time there. Instead of them using their sick time, we've paid them for that time off there. And
Greg's store,
we've using that. So
The Clorox machine that we ordered, we got that out of there.
Too. So we figure we'll have about $46,000 for expenditures. So we're looking like Craig's heart pump thing. But we've got a pretty good list of ideas.
the automatic front door.
Mm-hmm. So we're working on it, and hopefully we can have some stuff with purchase orders by September, end of September.
All right.
So is everyone all right if we expand this agenda as we find these agenda items to place on it?
Sure.
Yes,
I have no objection.
Thank you.
All right. Loretta, anything else?
Just a lot of things that are on their own path. And the only other thing that will be coming soon is union negotiations.
Other business, do we have anything? All right, public comment. Anybody in the public have anything? I see your hands raised, Renee. Just to remind everybody, *9 if you're on your phone, participant panel if not, raise your hand and we will call on you. Renee.
She's not, she's muted.
There she is.
I need
Last time
I
we
need
couldn't get you to
wine when I
talk.
come- yeah, I need wine when I come watch you guys because, you know, I'm just saying. I had a quick question about the lighting district in Sedona Ridge because there are a lot of lights that are out. And what used to happen was when the police would patrol the area, they would tag the lights and we would let Duke know. I know we're still paying for the lighting district, but is there any way that we can notify Duke to come out and fix? I mean, because on the street I'm on, there's about 8. And I mean, if I've got to drive around and tag them, I'll do it. But I didn't know if there was a way we could let Duke know to come out to fix them.
Loretta?
Yes, I can say that Laura actually has received some phone calls, and there is an online process, from what I understand, where streetlights are reported and
Okay.
can be reported by anyone. So if you can identify the area, I'm not certain if have to report a poll number to go along with that light.
Okay.
So what I can do is
If
ask for
you
more
have that, will
information
you
from Laura.
email it to me? And then that way I can put it out. And so anybody, we can help do that. That wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I'll talk to Laura tomorrow and find out how she handled this last one. I also know that she's had some difficulty finding it on their system. I think there's maybe some disconnect between things that were again done in a village versus some things that are recorded in records elsewhere.
Okay.
So
And the second
I'll
thing
talk
is,
to Laura.
are you guys going to go back to live meetings anytime soon? Not that this isn't enjoyable, but I'm just curious.
Renee, I think that would totally depend on how things go with COVID here, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like it either. The choppiness of this meeting a little bit is because Eddie isn't here too. So that's essentially my fault. But
I enjoyed my screen blinking off and on and pictures. I'm just glad nobody's got any inappropriate pictures popping up. We're all good. If you did that, Nick, A+ for you.
well, let's knock on wood. You don't know what the next meeting's going to bring, you know.
True. And Alan turned back on his video. So, there you go. It's all good night.
Scared of me.
That's what I had. If you can send that to me, Loretta, that would be great. And I will get that out to people so that we can call or get it done.
Yeah, I hope I'm right on that. That generally works, but we'll have to look at those subdivision lights. So I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Just know, Renee, I'm 10% uglier in real life.
Is this supposed to be a surprise to me in some way? Just saying.
Ouch.
Turn the video back off, Alan. It'll be all right.
Renee's like 10%? Are you kidding? A little higher.
I think that's a low figure.
I think we would all welcome that 10% increase if we could do it.
Yeah, but the beauty of it is that
What's that?
Nick can mute me. So,
That's true.
in real life, it's harder to do, except you could probably kick me, which has been done.
That being said, when you think I don't have self-restraint, just think about that. I
Alan,
could
at least you don't have to wear your chin guards anymore.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
If I can jump in for just a sec, just because I reported a street light by my house just the other day, I'm going to send Loretta the link right now. But from the Duke's webpage, you can do the address, the nearest cross street. You can actually zoom in on their map and select the street. And then it goes to Duke, and then they'll come out and fix it.
Good. Good to know.
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig.
You're welcome.
All right, we got Doug. Jesse?
Yeah, I just was going to say the same thing about the lighting thing. We've done the same thing. It does help if you have a number on the pole of the light. Usually there's a space where you go on Duke's website that you can put the pole number on it, and it just helps identify it. But again, yeah, the address and cross streets and all that help as well. But may not be easy to see on their website, but it's there.
All right, cool. Thanks, Doug. All right, anybody else? Raising hands. All right. Alan, Bonnie, you guys got anything? Debbie?
I have nothing else.
I believe I've extended this meeting long enough.
Well, Alan, do I have a motion to put us up? Adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Batchelor,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
and that is at 7:55.
It's a wrap.